episode, now I'm going to be talking about Liz's experience, what you can learn from whatever she just went through, or what she can do better for the next time. Now, in my previous video, I told you what her experiences taught her, like everything that she's gonna become because of those experiences, that God is showing her that she can still be that feminine, sweet self without a man, that everything that she needed for her personal feminine healing, she got that, and that's enough. She doesn't need him anymore. And so God took him away from her, because he might have not been so good for her, because she even said in her videos that he didn't like something, he would kind of convince her not to do it. You know what? He might be manipulative, he might be narcissist. Everyone's saying weird things in the comments, but he might be. You never know. You don't know him, and you can never know his intention, and it's a bad thing to look at someone's intention. But no, it's important to recognize these traits like manipulative and all of these. And perhaps he was, okay, but the fact that she reached that level was exactly what she needed. The fact she felt so feminine, that she was healed, partially healed. She shouldn't let this experience break her healing. This actually encourages her healing even more, because now she's in her feminine side and she truly loves him. And that's why that's the perfect time to let him go and experience how it's like to be a mother and give love to the next generation. And I think specifically for her, that's the best thing that could have happened to her. It's not like, oh, life is so random. It's not like we all expect, oh, we'll grow up, we'll have this amazing career, we'll find the prince of our life, we'll have kids happily ever after. That's not how the real world works. The real world is random, it's broken, it's confusing, it's all about lessons, it's about learning, because the meaning of life is just to experience. Now, coming on to the things that she might learn from this, and you need to learn from her experience and what she could have done better. Number one, if a man comes to you with everything you've ever wanted, you need to be cautious. You shouldn't be cautious like, oh my God, it's too good to be true. No, not that. You should also not be like, oh, I'm going to trust him with all my heart. No. I'm also going to mistrust him because I've seen that all men are trash. Like I've seen a lot of comments here. Also not true. You need to get to know the man for who he is. Not his perfection, not his imperfections, not like, oh, I've always wanted princess treatment and this man is treating me like a woman, like the woman I deserve to be. Also wrong. The thing is, I truly believe this was a big lesson for her that God gave her, because I mentioned in my previous video, I'll just make it brief. She mentioned in her video that like he used to give her a lot of like expensive gifts for her birthday, and she felt like, oh my gosh, I love him so much. But after a while, she realized she didn't need that. She wanted some raw like little app or something, or that small things that made everything so meaningful to her, right? That's exactly it. She's learning what it's like to have a true man, or like that she doesn't need things. She doesn't need someone who gives her all of this. And I've heard comments say that he was love bombing her. Now, you don't know this, but I can see what you mean. When you meet a man who meets all your requirements, who's intelligent, who's wise, who's understanding, who's caring, who's loving, and all of this, you're like, that is the right man for me. I want this man for eternity. He's the most amazing man in the whole world. Yeah, but he's also a human. You haven't seen you'll always find men who are amazing and in some things, in some ways, but they also have a dark side. Every person has a dark side. Every person has a destructive life in some way. And she thought their values are aligned. But here's the thing, he was insecure. There was something in his heart that he didn't have. He wasn't confident. And I think it was very obvious from the moment I saw him. And it's okay, some people are not confident. It's actually kind of cute. But insecurity is dangerous, and he's brought himself into danger. He didn't harm Liz. He can't harm someone who's confident, who trusts God more than anything. You can never harm someone who trusts God more than they trust themselves. So that's something you guys have to learn too. You have to really trust God. You can't trust things, people are imperfect, God is perfect, the nature is perfect, humans are imperfect. And if you live in fear constantly of, oh, humans are this, humans are that, I can't trust people, yeah, you're not going to live properly, you're going to be in fear, you're going to block a lot of blessings coming your way. So here's what she should have done differently, or what she can learn for the future, or what God is trying to teach her. Well, I did mention what he's going to teach her, he's trying to teach her, but here's something she could have done differently, or some lesson for her that she didn't see coming. A man who gives you everything doesn't mean he's the right man for you. It's like she was attached to those ideals of a man that, oh, he needs to provide flowers, he needs to treat me like a queen, he needs to do all of these things. It doesn't mean the world is a terrible place. It was a specific lesson for her that she needs a man who's like this, who's like that. And once she met this man that she felt protected with and loved with, she started becoming more feminine, she started becoming softer, she became happier, she became all of those amazing things that she's always wanted, that she the heels or the scars of her like father and her experiences were starting to fade, right? That's the whole point. She was feminine, she became this, but she was attached to ideals that thought that are gonna heal her completely. But here's the thing, that's God took him away, because hey, that's not what's meant for you. You're supposed to find the healing within yourself. You're supposed to be feminine within yourself without having a man who has to create that femininity in you. And he left her in a state that she's feminine, she's sweet, and now the man has completely left her. She doesn't need to keep her guards up now. She can just let herself loose and love the way she loved him, but love towards life and not specifically one person. And that's a very beautiful lesson. But when it comes to finding a man and choosing a man, again, those ideals, those attachments of, oh, he has to be rich, he has to give, he has to be providing, he did all of this. These things are not the most important part. It's so important to look at the person. It's basically like it was meant to be, so she elevates to never another level, but just for you specifically. If you find a man who has all these traits and all these perfections, yeah, go ahead, go out with him if he's your standards, because it's very important for a woman to have standards, because she's going to spend the rest of her life with that specific man. So have your standards, meet this man, get to know him. Take it slow, of course, and get to know him, get to know his friends, get to know his family. To your friends shape you, even if he has friends who are not that good to him, your friends always shape you. So if you really have to go out and meet a man's friends, okay, very important, girls, if you like a man, you go meet his friends, go meet his parents, go see his parents, literally go and see his parents, get to know the parents. If their parents are like strict, if they have a certain perspective, it doesn't mean he has the same perspective, but that he's been born with similar perspectives. There's men out there who have such loving, caring parents who are there for their feelings, and such men don't cheat. Also, men who've been neglected, they don't cheat either. It doesn't have to be this, but they grow up with some type of fear, insecurity, and all of this. And some people turn into, oh, I need to cheat to get over this. Doesn't mean the person is the most evil man on the face of this earth, just means he's broken, okay? And so you have to get to know the parents. You have to see what shaped him and how did he interpret his parents raising into his life. Why is he doing the career he's doing? Is he trying to seek control over his life? It's very important to really see a man for who he is. Not, oh, he's provider, he's this, so he's a more high value man. Who cares? Honestly, like, high value, low value, every person who's born in this world is a high value person. Nothing in the world can reduce a person's value. Everyone is a very high value person. Whatever they experience, whatever that shapes them, doesn't reduce their value ever. No matter like what they experience, who they are, who they become, nothing reduces a person's value. It's just them harming other people, which is actually what God doesn't like. Where God sets this person is a low value because they have high value in my eyes, but they've messed up, and that's why they have a lower value now. Okay, that's it. A high value man, the one who's rich, the one who's providing, doesn't always mean he's doing it with good terms. he might have earned money in a, I don't know, like a bad way or something, or he's like a liar in business, right? And so a liar in business might not be might also be a liar in partnership. Everyone like has different values. You might have a really good businessman who's always honest with his work, but maybe cheating on his wife, but also good with his family. There's all types of variations, but it's very important to see the friends of a man, to see who he is, his parents, see what he does, get to know his colleagues, get to know how he works. And then when you end up with this person and you like everything you see, then you need someone, your own friends, to get to know him and see, are you two compatible? Does this person match who you're meant to be? Okay, and then you get together with that person. That's something she rushed because she thought, oh my gosh, yay, I found my person, I don't need to wait. And I love this so much for her because she was like, oh, I opened myself up to him. He's caring, he's understanding, and that's perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you wait 5 years. That's at least something that I really, really want to do for myself. Wait 5 years to get to know the person. How well do you work in a team? It doesn't have to be like, oh, will he cheat on me? No, just how well do we work in a team? How compatible are we in everyday life? What are things that like he does that I couldn't like? What happens with most of us is that we develop feelings too fast without asking the important questions. I bet she did, like, not that she didn't do it, I'm sure she probably did that, but many of us don't do that. When we start dating someone or like get to know someone, we never make a list of 20 questions to ask them to see how compatible. Like, for example, let me think of what's the point of your life? What's one thing that you want to achieve and why? Like, why do you want to be rich? Ask him this question. Why do you want to be rich? Why do you want this? Why do you want this? And you'll see a lot into a person's perspective, their insecurities, what they're working for. That's something women really need to do. And that's how you'll discover if a man is a cheater. A cheater isn't some evil ass human who's like da 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 da. No. A cheater can have good sides, but a cheater is a cheater. Is the worst thing you can be for a partner is a cheater. Like, it would completely break you into pieces, right? If you were a cheater. It's not like, oh, all men are cheaters because they cheated on theWizardLiz. No, a cheater is a person who is attached to outcomes in their life. They're really attached. That's something they haven't mastered. They haven't mastered detachment. They ascribe their value to things in the world. They think, oh, it's really sad. I've mentioned this in all my videos, I think, at some point, but I really need you guys to look at my videos to understand the whole context. It's life-changing, by the way, but I'll give it to you here. Life-changing, guys. My video is life-changing. You have to watch it. But yeah, okay. So anyways, we all are born in the highest value possible. There's nothing more valuable than us in this whole universe, and I'll tell you why. There's no second you. There's no second the girl on the other side of the road. There's no second version of us, and we're just a billion people. And we're like, oh, billion is so much, but who are we comparing it to? Are we comparing to other people? Just because there's 8 billion people in the world? No. Yeah, 8 billion 8 billion people in the world doesn't mean that each of us has less value because there's so many people. No. Have you not seen planets? How there's so many planets in the universe, but they're all having meaning? Just because there's so many galaxies doesn't mean any of them has no meaning. They're all unique in their own way. We have so many stars. We need them in the galaxy for it to function, okay? Everything is so unique. Everything about you is so unique, okay? Watch my videos. But oh, I'd be so excited if you did because I have so much, like, I would be so happy if you guys are happy, like, watching my video. I want to go into like the lessons, like why a man becomes a cheater. He's insecure, okay? He's like truly insecure because he attaches his value to something that's like something like, for example, some people attach their value to money. A person whose money is more valuable than someone who's not, who doesn't have money, then that's something. Maybe the like a person who has more money is more valuable. That's, at least I've seen some, like, shorts with some of her content, that a man who has money is more valuable than a man who doesn't. Finished. That's what she said. I think again, I don't know her that well, so like don't keep my word for that. But let's assume, right? Or you guys think that like a man who has more money is more valuable. Then we also think a man who's like healed is more valuable than a man who isn't, or a man who's this is more valuable than a man who isn't. And that's what God tried to teach her. No, that's not true, girl. It's not. A value cannot be ascribed to a person based on what they have or they don't. Every person is extremely valuable, top valuable. Nothing in the world can reduce a person's value, no matter what they do. And we have no right to look at a person and say, oh, your value is dependent on the. You know, there's cultures in the world. If you're born in a specific family, you're at higher value. Or if you have girls in your family, or you're born as a man, you're more valuable than women. Like, they've turned value, like attach value to gender as well. They've attached value to how much income a person has, who they are, the things they've experienced, or any of this. And that is very important. That's something that Landon did. Okay, and why did they end up together? Very interesting thing. Because both of them have kind of like attached value to a person for the things that they are, the things that they do. Now, the mistake that Landon made was to think, oh, I have to chase what's highest value. He's basically attached his own value to someone, like, oh, if I have the most amazing woman, I become a more valuable person. And I think that's the mistake that he made. That's insecurity. He's actually attached himself to a value of like, oh, I don't feel complete because I'm with Liz, which is kind of sad, because the thing is, the thing that Liz didn't do is she didn't attach her value to a man. She basically said, I have to be complete on my inside and basically be with someone who's I'm compatible with, right? Someone who shares the same views as me. It doesn't mean that everyone in the world needs to be with a rich man and that's the right man to be with, because that's just not how the world works. That's not how reality works. Everyone has their own standards, and Liz's standard is someone who's well off, who's caring, who's giving, and that's her thing. It's perfectly fine to have standards, right? But it's important not to attach too much value into that, or make a person seem more valuable because he has those things, because life is random. People go through different circumstances. But okay, the thing with Landon is he's attached his own value. He's basically been insecure. He basically thinks that he needs to be or achieve a specific endeavor to be a higher value person, or at higher value. That's where insecurity comes from, because we've always compared other people to be better or worse than us. And it's also not something that that's taught. Sometimes it's natural based on our experiences, such as he also had a tough childhood that I heard from their video together. And it's quite interesting because that's like I would say that's the second video I've watched on like the WizardLiz channel. And it's very interesting that I watched the whole thing and then I could there's probably a reason, right? So basically what I want to tell you is that she experienced this, and he's basically setting value to things, setting value in himself, like that he was so insecure about. Okay, and it's just the way it is. He set a standard. He's like, oh, I'm more valuable if I do this, finish, that's it, goodbye, that's it, right? And that's how he ruined everything, because he thinks he wasn't valuable enough. And if he thought he was valuable enough, if he was confident in being valued and not playing power games, then he would have been happier. He would have not cheated. And I promise you, he wouldn't have cheated if he understood how valuable he was. But he didn't. He was on how people call it, low vibrational energy. And that is because he did not understand how valuable he was. He didn't understand, he wasn't confident. And so he saw Liz as not someone who's gonna give, someone who's gonna give him more power. And if the wizard Liz loves him, then that means that he's more powerful. And so he turns that into a power play thing, I'm more powerful if I have her, and I'm more powerful if I go cheat, because he thinks that the wizard Liz is higher value than he is. And so it made him insecure, or that he wants to gain control over a situation. So I'm so glad that Liz found out soon enough before he could stop her from going to paths she wanted to achieve. And again, it doesn't make him a bad, evil person. It just means he hasn't learned a few lessons in life, and he's probably refusing to learn a few lessons in life, which makes him a destructive person towards other people. And if Liz takes that power back where she, instead of letting his behavior dictate how she's going to end up, and she's going to be heartbroken for the next few months, and she's going to be sad that she has a baby on the way, she's giving him power. And if she refuses to do that and be like, hey, that's the best thing that could have ever happened to me, OMG, I'm having a baby, I'm about to be a mom, and I'm like financially independent, and I'm happy, and I'm having a baby, like honestly I think that's the best blessing, and I swear this baby's gonna be a big blessing for her and teach her so many good lessons and all of this. Okay, this is the best that could have happened to her, and I'm like 100% sure about that. And that she found out now was God's blessing, and her intuition is also great and everything, and she didn't make a mistake. Once again, mistakes are not something that we make. We learn from them. We become better. We have to always be careful not to harm people like Landon did because of our own insecurity. He's just bleeding on her. He's just bleeding on everyone that right now. And that's his problem, because trust me, those who harm others don't feel better on the inside. They actually feel worse on the inside than the people who don't harm others. So if she doesn't let that get to her and make her be afraid of approaching relationships, then she's free, and she's supposed to be a free bird. That's the thing. If she keeps her power and she's not scared, and I've referred talk about power in my previous videos, she's gonna shine. So that's very important, not to let his behavior dictate that all men are like this, because that's not true. If you give him that much power, then that's on you, people, because I've seen so many comments like, oh, if they cheated on Liz, they're all men are cheaters. Oh my god, no, very wrong. And you're basically just letting yourself get traumatized, taken over by fear, because what is that? You have to understand how a person functions. You can't say, oh, all men are like this, because clearly not all men are like this. You have to see their upbringing, they have to see their perspectives. And men grow up in a society where men are born, okay? And men grow up in a society with different pressures than ours. Yeah, we have similar pressures sometimes, but completely different pressures too. It has nothing to do with your private parts. Every person is the same. Every single person is the same. If a person is evil, it's on them. It's their own insecurity. It's universal. It's not something that, oh, a man is weird, a women are always great. I wish I was we could date other women, and I want to date women because I'm sick of men. That's where you're setting values to women. You're putting a value, women are of higher value than men. That is not true. Absolutely not true. And if this man cheated, that's because he's going through an issue that he needs to figure out, and he might heal, but yeah, she shouldn't take him back, of course, but he will heal. And healing comes from love. Love is the answer to everything, and my channel talks about a lot of love, like how to love yourself, how to love other people, what's the right amount of love type of thing. But love really heals everything. And if Landon understands to love himself, love life, love things, and understand that everyone, including himself, is of high value and there's nothing that can reduce his value and all of this, then he'll be good and he'll be a stable person. He'll heal himself, and that's what she needs to learn too. She needs to heal herself and not let this experience, not give him the power to break her. And no, he didn't do anything. He just messed up. He basically did a big mistake. Okay, finished. He doesn't deserve to be on her mind ever again. That's all he deserves. She doesn't deserve that she ever thinks about him, because not worth it. That's the same with you guys. You guys are not allowed to give him power. You're not allowed to be like, oh, all men are like this. You're literally breaking other men right now. No, you're not breaking other men. I mean, you're just breaking any potential for yourself if you think, oh, all men are like this. No, he was just broken on the inside, and he thought he's gonna gain more power, because this was his ego. That wasn't himself, his inner spiritual loving self. That was his ego. And people who operate with ego are not successful. They basically damaged their own life, and I've made another video about that. So yeah, that's actually something you guys can learn from this. And yeah, once again, when it comes to like a baby, that's something I want to do, is like wait 5 years or 4 years to see how compatible I'm with that person, how we can work as a team when it comes to children, and how well we work together before we take this move. Love, one more thing about love. Love is beautiful, but love without logic isn't true love. That's something you guys need to know. Most people nowadays, they get into partnerships without compatibility, without checking how well you match for each other, without getting to know their deepest childish trauma, all of this. No one does this nowadays because, oh yeah, I have feelings for you, because we always assume we're right anyways, because no one else in the world is right. We're always right. I don't know why we always think we're right. It kind of makes no sense because we always make mistakes, but okay. We always think we're right, okay? But the more you think you know, the less you actually do. Keep that in mind, guys. Girls, keep that in mind. You don't know everything. So the more you think you know, the less you do. That's why you always have to like test things out. You have to get to know people on a deeper level. You have to see things. You have to like understand situations better. You have to be cautious, but not in a way of like, oh, out of fear. No, out of logic. And when you truly love someone, you wouldn't want to mess things up. If I truly love someone, I want to see if I'm compatible with them, if they're compatible with me, if I'm even good for them, if I'm good, if I'm caring enough, if I will fulfill their needs, if they can fulfill my needs, okay, whatever. If I truly love someone, will I be able to give them what they want? Will I be the best partner they can ever have? That's what's important. And when you truly love, you focus on logic. Am I compatible with them? Am I gonna take good care of them? Am I gonna love them the way they deserve? And if you're just going on feelings, that's the most selfish thing you can do. Can blind you, and love is actually the most beautiful thing you can experience. The fact you can love someone so unconditionally without them having to have anything is pure love, and that is pure love. You're supposed to purely love someone, whether they're rich, whether they're not, whether they're ugly, whether they're not, whether they have this or that. That is unconditional love, and that's probably something that nature is probably trying to teach her too. But some lesson for you guys: love is unconditional, and love requires logic. Otherwise, it's not love. If you know you're not gonna fit well with someone because of their values, out. Because you love them so much. Because you love them so much, you don't harm them. And if let's say Landon assumes that, or says, oh, I love Liz, is there any logic to your love? Let's assume, yeah, we believe him and he wasn't lying or anything, okay? If he says, I love you, Liz, then love is about logic. And if he couldn't maintain this relationship and he knew he would cheat eventually, then he needs to work on his like self-control. He needs to work on his logic, because love without logic isn't love. Because love you can fall for anyone, but if you include logic and self-control, that's true love. That's the action part of love. And thank you very much for watching. And if you guys need a part 2 or 3, I'll come up with more ideas and I'll mention them. So I hope you learned a few things. Again, can't generalize a person into every person. Can't see a man who's trash and say every person in the world is trash. Can't see a woman who's trash and say... It can't do that, guys. That's what's keeping our world divided. That's what's breaking families, breaking hearts, creating so much toxicity in our world, because we're generalizing things. We're generalizing people. And that's something that many people have to learn the hard way. So have a nice day, and please know that there's a chance for her. Everything's going to go well for her. She's learning a lesson, and everyone needs love, whether they're broken or not. Everyone deserves a chance. Not like that she should take him back, that's not what I mean, but everyone deserves a chance at love. And those who think they're insecure and they're not achieving, like he's insecure, right? Obviously he's not confident, he needed validation. Such people are broken, and all they need is to love themselves and heal, and then they will be good partners. And then once they understand the meaning behind their own purpose, they won't do such a thing. So thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best.